Good morning, fellow Vincentians. Now, this week, we saw an article from Eyewitness News relating to a quarry that is started operations in Richmond. St Lucian Company, which has been given a quarry license to operate in Richmond. 30-year lease. And we also saw the Minister of Tourism and the Minister, who is the area representative, and the Agriculture Minister. We were told by Soboto Caesar, Minister of Agriculture, to expect big things in agriculture this year. And the first thing we saw is a vast amount of our agricultural lands being turned into quarry. Not forgetting the fact that Soboto Caesar is where he is because of agriculture. But he has done a very good job at destroying the same source that made him who he is today. This ULP regime has a trend, and I will explain the trend. They have a trend of systemically destroying agriculture and agricultural infrastructure in St Vincent and the Grenadines. Why do I say this? The farmers of St Vincent were very organized. They had the agricultural input warehouse. When this government came to power, that was acquired, it was taken from the farmer along with all the farmers' assets. And we saw what happened to farmers, because farmers was no longer able to purchase the supplies needed to maintain their farms. That caused a lot of farms to go out of operation. As if that was not enough, we saw a series of acquisition of agricultural lands for purposes, in my view, which are non-beneficial to St Vincent. Now, we say the Argyle International Airport took a large amount of our prime agricultural lands, and long term, it most likely would be of benefit to the nation. So let's say we let that slide. But then we had prime agricultural lands at Bookament taken for Bookament Bay Resort. What is Bookament Bay Resort generating for St Vincent? Too often we're being sold parasitic relationships with foreigners as some form of investment that would benefit Vincentians, and it never turns out to benefit Vincentians. Then we look at prime agricultural lands in Belials, that again was taken for the construction of prison. Then we have prime agricultural lands at Peter's Hope, given to Canadians at dirt cheap prices. Again, what benefit is that to Vincentians? And now we're hearing prime agricultural lands at Richmond given to St Lucian. How many Vincentians have filed for mining license? Bigger Bigs, I'm sure he's not the only one. How much of them have received mining license? But we have foreigners easily receiving mining license and easily getting prime agricultural lands to destroy, because once a quarry is running there for 30 years, no way after that is that area going to be suitable for agriculture. But when we talk about agriculture, we're not only talking about land, we're talking about sea as well. And again, we saw rainforests being given permission to fish in our waters, and they have a 15-year tax exemption. So for 15 years, they'll be leeching our resources and paying nothing back to our government. Why is it that we don't ever hear any Vincentians getting these sweetheart deals? We must ask ourselves this question. We also find ourselves in a position where a vast amount of our livestock are being exported, and then process and we buy back the processed product. And then we find ourselves in a position where we now having a shortage of animal livestock. So, what really is the government's policy pertaining to agriculture? Does the ULP really take agriculture seriously? Do they see agriculture as an integral part in our country's development and in our country's economy? Do we have a balanced economy? And why are we constantly being sold the idea that our colonizers are the only ones that could take us out of poverty, when really what they're doing is continuing to exploit us as a people? We're told that this quarry would employ about 50 persons. But in our impact study, do we really take into consideration 50 Vincentians working constantly in a dusty environment, probably wouldn't be given the proper PPE? What strain would it have on our healthcare? What impact would it have on the families? Would it be worth it? How much money would actually come into the St Vincent economy as a result of this? Are these monies going to be banked in St Vincent? Just like the big projects in Canawan. How much of those monies actually come to St Vincent or benefit Vincentians? The higher paying jobs are owned by foreigners. When foreigners book these hotels, the monies are paid into foreign bank account. Most of the produce that these hotels, in terms of food and linen, etc., are not produced in St. Vincent, so those purchases are made overseas. So are they really benefiting us as a people? Minimal at best. And if you want to talk about the spill-offs are not that big either. It is time for us to start analyzing things as a people. Put partisan politics aside. Put your country before your party. And when your political party or your government or whoever brings these ideas of projects to you, ask the deep, pertinent questions. How? Crunch the numbers. How are these going to benefit Vincentians? How much Vincentians are really going to benefit, if any? And why are they being given these long contracts? 30-year leases, 100-year leases? Well, at least it's a lease, and not all lands being sold off as in Canawan and other places. But we must ask the government, what really is their intentions when it comes to the farmers of St. Vincent and the Grenadines? What really are their intentions when it comes to us being a nation that is able to be food sustainable? Because very soon, we've lost bananas because we didn't deal with the Moko, Black Sikatoka problem. We've lost most of our citrus because we didn't properly deal with the mealybug situation. And what isn't lost through natural disasters and pests, etc., is now being lost because our prime lands have been used for housing, hotels, anything but agriculture. My people, this is not a government that seems to think things through. This is not a government that have the people at heart. This is a government that is bent on creating more poor people and pushing up people deeper and deeper in poverty. Our national debt is sky high, which means each and every Vincentian is burdened with about $20,000 worth of debt. How many Vincentians have that much saved to be able to pay their part of the national debt? Ask yourself that question. And ask yourself, who are the ones that seem to be benefiting from what is happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? And if you feel that you're not having a fair share, it is time for you to stand up and be counted. Have a blessed day, and may God bless.